Hi, this is Kevin Quigley, and welcome to Tarot Off the Cuff. After more than 30 years of working with the tarot, Barbara Moore has learned that she still loves dancing with it. As she studies and works and reads with the cards, she's discovering that she loves to internalize its wisdom as much as possible, so that you can bring it with you, whether you have a deck of cards or not.
Hi everyone, this is Barbara Moore. I am here with Tarot Off the Cuff, and today I'm going to be using the Dreaming Way Tarot. It is by Choi, and it is published by US Games. I really love the art of this deck. It's a little bit different, and it sometimes, if I want to talk about tarot in a way that doesn't sound like a lesson, I need to use something that's not Rider Waite, because I'm so entrenched in Rider Waite that when I use it, I just fall back on old things. So if I want to bring something fresh, I use a deck that's a little bit different, a little outside of a super strict Rider Waite kind of tradition or clone. Okay, we have the Page of Pentacles, and hopefully we'll put the image on the side so that I'm not going to hold it up the whole time, so you don't have to see it shaking, but this is the Page of Pentacles. Um, the first thing that I think of, two things I'm thinking of. First is that I am approaching my second Saturn return. So I'm thinking a lot about the next stage in life. I'm thinking about what it is to be older, and I'm kind of struggling with these issues. I imagine I'm not alone in that. I think everybody kind of struggles when they're moving into a new phase of their life. And so I've been pulling cards to help guide myself as I work through this. And I noticed that I've gotten repeated pages a lot, which I think is interesting when I'm thinking about moving into a stage of life that is older, and the pages technically represent the youngest or the least experienced level of the court cards. And that phrase I just said, the least experienced, is I think what we might do well to focus on more with the pages than thinking about age, or age in chronological terms, or just being physically the youngest. Because even though I'm going to enter this new phase of life, it is new. So it's a new experience. So I enter it as a page. So one of the messages I've been pulling from, just not just the Page of Pentacles, but just pages in general coming up for me a lot. And this could be something that might work for you if you notice such patterns over your own personal readings or daily pulls, is I feel like I want to go into this experience knowing as much as possible, being as prepared as possible. And the cards, I think, are telling me perhaps don't do that quite so much. Perhaps part of the point of it is to go in unprepared, because one of the benefits of that is you don't have expectations. You're not like, well, I read this and this is how it looks and this is how it feels and this is what I can expect to experience. So you'll have expectations, and those could shift what might have been a different path for you. It could block you from accepting, seeing gifts or revelations that could be coming to you because they don't fit into what you thought was going to happen. So I think that's a beautiful thing, a beautiful lesson that we can take from the pages in general, just to go into something without expectations. By the way, this also kind of ties in a lot for me with the High Priestess. The High Priestess card has a lot of meanings, as we all know. One of the aspects that I often focus on that feels very true for me most of the time when she comes up for me, it's not so much that you already know or it's within you. I mean, it is within you, but what I think the High Priestess represents is the beginning of an initiatory experience. She's at the front of the temple. You're about to go into the temple for the initiatory ritual, and you can't know what it is ahead of time. You have to go in and just face it and do it. And I think the pages are kind of there helping with that. They're like, yeah, just go in, just explore, just figure it out, and be open-minded. So that, I think, is a good thing that we'll take away from the pages with this little tarot off the cuff chat. The other thing is, this is a Page of Pentacles. And I had just talked about not doing research and not figuring things out before you go in, but things are not always as black and white as that, are they? I mean, two things, well, one thing that comes up twice right away for me is, again, looking at that card, just in case it's not up there, she is looking at a book, and the High Priestess is reading a scroll. And usually, before you go in for an initiation, you've had formal training of some kind. So there has been some preparation, there is some study, there is some having a clue about what's going on or how you might approach the situation. So, and I've always said that while the, well, for sure, the other pages, and possibly the Page of Swords for sure, they have that confidence that comes with naivety and inexperience and enthusiasm, and they just will go out and do their thing, even if they're not quite prepared to do it. But the Page of Pentacles has always struck me as the page who is always the most prepared. That could be my personal preference because I love the Pentacles, or it could also, well, it could be that, and it can be the fact that the pages, I mean, I'm sorry, the Pentacles are the complete manifestation of all the other suits. The idea from the Wands comes into the desire of the heart, and the emotional connection with the Cups comes up to the plan, the intellectual plan from the Swords, and then the thing is done and manifested in the Pentacles. I'm sure if I knew Kabbalah better, I could talk about how the lightning bolt comes down from, I'll guess, Kether, and goes down to Malkuth, I think. Yeah, this is how much I don't know about Kabbalah. But it just feels like the final realization of something's potential when it arrives in Pentacles or the Earth suit. So yeah, so I think of the Pentacles as being very, very prepared. As prepared as one can be with only theoretical knowledge, right? Because the actual experience, even if you practice it in controlled conditions, is not quite the same thing, is it? Yes, so I am really, what's really curious to me about this particular page is that she is so focused on the book. Usually if I see pages, they're usually focused more on the pentacle or doing something physical. So our message here, I think then, you know what I think I'm going to take the message to be? Now, I haven't mentioned it yet in this recording, but we are in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. I'm looking at those Page of Pentacles and I'm thinking about the idea of learning through experience versus preparing. And sometimes when you're in a situation like we are in this pandemic where many of us can't do much, some of us can't leave our house, some of us haven't left our house in 6 weeks, that's me. And so the opportunity to act, to experience through doing things is really limited. And I'm sure a lot of us are aching for new activities. I know I am. I'd kill to go to a museum right now. But I think since this is the card that came up for us today, the Page of Pentacles, I think the lesson that I want to take from this card today is you want to learn, you want to do, you want to experience things. You're really aching to do that, whatever your situation, whether it's pandemic or in the future, some other situation that feels similar to that. I think the Page of Pentacles is like, well, if you can't do the thing that you want to do, turn to wisdom, turn to your holy books, turn to the books that are your scriptures, things that feed your soul, that can help strengthen you and give you wisdom and give you the knowledge and the tools for when it is time to do the experience, that you filled yourself up with all kinds of ideas, you've been thinking things through, maybe looking at things differently, maybe read a new book, maybe read a holy book from a path that is not your own, and see what wisdom you can find in that. Because my guess is that almost any holy book, I would say almost any good novel, you can find wisdom that will help you grow as a person and become the person you want to be and be prepared for whatever your next adventure is. Um, so yeah, so Page of Pentacles, most prepared, kind of straddling that line between being able to do something and not being able to do something. And how do you fill that time? Well, I think our lesson from this Page of Pentacles will be read, do, learn, expose yourself to something new if you can't get out and do the thing you want to do. And the pages have that new energy, that curiosity, and the Page of Pentacles likes to be prepared. And yeah, so maybe if you're facing it, you can't do anything, and like you can't read or practice or do any more about the thing itself, look at other things, because everything that you take in affects everything else that you do. So anything you take in is going to shape you and mold you and give you stuff to draw on. I like to think of, like, when I read things, listen to podcasts, watch things, listen to music, look at art, all of that fills up inside of me. It's like I'm putting all this stuff in me, and then it breaks down. And a friend and I like to think of it as our internal mulch, our internal compost that feeds whatever seeds we want to put into it. And again, the pages are also very closely aligned to seeds because they're aligned with the aces, and they're holding their suit as if it were a seed, and they're exploring it. So I think maybe I've rambled a while, and perhaps I'm starting to repeat myself. So I think I've made my points. So yeah, let's see. What have I given you today? Well, use a deck you're not familiar with if you want to get fresh new insights into the cards. That often works for me. The other thing is, if you're getting a lot of pages coming up in your life, consider not necessarily studying or preparing for the actual thing that you're thinking about doing, but instead bring in some new material, new insights, either on the topic or on some completely different topic, to fill in your mulch in ways that you might be surprised how they'll end up feeding and shaping what you plant in the future. So I think that's about all from me for today, for this episode of Tarot Off the Cuff. Again, I was using the Dreaming Way Tarot, published by US Games and done by Choi. So I look forward to talking to you guys again. Until then, be well. Bye.
Hey, this is Kevin.
Hi, this is Nooch.
Thanks for watching.
If you like what you saw, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe. You'll know when new ones are coming. And share with your friends.
We'll see you soon.